Family of a teen shooter sued because they ignored dangerous and racist behavior. Put up the picture full mass. This is going to make your blood boil. A lawsuit has alleged that a 15-year-old white teen freely showed off weapons before killing 5 people, including a black woman who was shot 34 times. She was shot more than all of the other victims combined. Austin Thompson was charged after allegedly shooting 5 people to death and injuring 2 others in the Hedingham neighborhood just east of Raleigh on October 13th, 2022. He was 15 at the time, okay? The families of the victims filed a 162-page lawsuit against Thompson's parents, the Neighborhood Homeowners Association, and a private community police force, claiming that those parties knew the teen had a history of antisocial, racist, aggressive, and violent comments and behaviors before the deadly shooting. That was quoted in CBS 17. Now, there's more. The lengthy suit reportedly details multiple complaints neighbors made through the HOA about Thompson, reporting him as aggressive, creepy, and off. It also includes 2 instances when the teenager used racial slurs. Plaintiffs mentioned that Thompson encountered one of his alleged victims, Nicole Connors, days before the shooting. Connors, a 52-year-old black woman who had also reportedly complained about Thompson's behavior, was shot 34 times, once again, more than all the other victims combined. Suit alleges that the private law enforcement group hired to monitor the community took no actions after receiving calls about gunfire in the neighborhood on the day of the shooting. The group is accused of making no efforts to stop the spree, locate Thompson, and inform Raleigh police about the incident in a timely manner. Now, let me explain this private police force. If you do a little bit of Google research, you'll find that HOAs across America, they have these private police departments. And many times these individuals are actual cops, post-certified. They have arrest powers and they live in that community. They patrol that community. And if you have an issue, you call them and they come and, well, do nothing, obviously. So the private police force, once they're sanctioned by the HOA, depending on jurisdiction, they have a working relationship with the actual police department, to where these things may seem ridiculous and extreme and like a cover-up, but they have a level of allowance to do these things by way or consent of that community or the HOA. Now, the complaint details how Thompson, a known threat to the community, was allowed to roam freely with his weapons, leading to the deaths of 5 individuals and serious injury to others. That's what the Howard Stallings law firm said in a statement. Austin's father, his name is Alan Thompson, pleaded guilty last month to keeping a loaded gun on his nightstand that was used in the shooting. Family attorneys claimed the parents had no idea their son had violent tendencies, no idea at all, even though everybody in the damn HOA knew the son had violent tendencies. And it's actually part of their report to the HOA. The lawsuit alleges that the father-son pair would brag about the number of weapons they possessed and shared wishes to own even more guns. Search warrants revealed that police seized at least 10 guns and a large amount of ammunition from the Thompsons' home. Thompson allegedly used a shotgun, a handgun, a large hunting knife for the incident. After the killing spree, authorities said he fled and hid in a shed about a mile away from the neighborhood. During a standoff with officers, he decided to off himself and was rushed to a hospital with crucial injuries, but he survived. He will be tried as an adult for murder, attempted murder, and assault with a deadly weapon, intent to kill, and inflicting serious bodily injury. His trial is set to take place September 2025. We will be covering and bring you updates of that trial. Parents have no idea, right? Okay. So if you really did not have an idea, and all of these complaints are happening about your own child, you're a horrible parent. If you did have an idea and you did nothing, you're still a horrible parent. It doesn't matter which one it is. Okay. This culture of guns in the United States of America has aided in the disaster and the carnage that you see. He's 15 during the time. Whatever he was planning and whatever day he had, whatever bad day or bad week or bad month or bad year, eventually it passes. He's 15. But see, he had access to guns. He was encouraged to use guns. His dad created a culture, according to his own guilty plea, that aided in his fascination with guns. What if he could not get his hands on a gun? A few years later, that 15-year-old is now 18, 19. He's not thinking like he was thinking when he was 15. Thank God he didn't have access to a gun, but he did have access to guns. So much so that the father decided not to even lock his own weapon somewhere safe, knowing of his tendencies. My dear brother, these kind of stories, they really piss me off. And the reason is because it's emotion of a very young person who obviously is polarized to the negative for whatever reason. And then it's the parents giving him access to commit murder because of their fascination with gun culture. What say you?
It's heartbreaking. It's causes you hopelessness. I was actually just in Raleigh doing stand-up, and while I was there,
Wow.
there was a baseball tournament for some teenagers, and my friends were actually had flown to California from California to Raleigh for their son to participate in this tournament, and he was 15. And in my mind, I'm thinking this 15-year-old that went on a shooting spree should have been part of that. He should have been part of some sports activity, something else, something 15-year-olds should be doing in a positive way. And to your point, if this 15-year-old did not have access to guns, maybe he lashes out, because I think one of the victims was his brother. Maybe he lashes out and gets in a fight with his brother, and then he gets counseling. But unfortunately, we have so much access to guns, such easy access to guns, such glamorization of guns, that this story is not the last time we're going to hear about this. I mean, everyone points to in Australia when they had their last mass shooting, and they really clamped down on access to guns, and they haven't had a mass shooting since. Or in this case, you talk about this force that was supposed to help them. That's the argument that's always made from the other side. You know, who's going to stop a bad guy with a gun, a good guy with a gun? We saw it did not happen in this case. It did not happen in Uvalde, Texas. It's not that easy. This is not a movie. This is not Jason, the Bourne Identity, where you get in there and take the bad guy out. And by the way, the bad guy is a complicated situation as well. This is a 15-year-old who's got trouble, who's got some mental health issues, and we should be helping this young man to not get to this point. Why does this young man have such hate for others? Why is he racist? What's going on? And so it's very unfortunate. It's heartbreaking. The victims, the female 52-year-old African American woman that died there. I'm 52, and you think to yourself, hey, I'm taking care of myself. I'm living my life. I'm just walking down the street, and someone shows up with a gun and decides to take out your life. And not only does it affect you, it affects all those around you and any family that you might have. So this is heartbreaking, and it's just, the reason I say it's hopeless is because it feels like even when things like this happens, there's a part of this country that does not want to do anything about it, especially in the Republican Congress. And again, when we see something like the Newtown shootings, or we see something like Uvalde shootings, and you think, okay, this is the one that's going to do it, and it doesn't. And so I don't know. I really don't know what the solution is. But again, to your point, we got to keep putting the pressure on. We got to keep our eyes on this. And I think it's a great thing that they are actually, going after the parents. Maybe if we go after enough parents, they start smartening up and doing something about it rather than providing guns to their kids.
That's right. And unfortunately, they have to spend their own money, hire their own attorneys in order to sue them civilly, because the laws are pretty weak when it comes to holding parents accountable. Correlation and causation: if you have less guns available, you get less shootings. We know this as a fact. Republicans do believe in less guns because they sponsor gun buyback programs in neighborhoods, or what they will call them hoods, across America. So they want to disarm the hood with less guns because they realize less guns, less gun crimes. But for some reason, it just doesn't apply to them.